I am told.
Repeatedly. The Gerwyn Price, two-time winner on the PDC Tour.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, James to throw first. Game on!
But James Wade has won many, many titles. 7 major titles. Came close to picking up an 8th. He made the final of the Grand Slam of Darts last year. Curiously,
96.
Did so without throwing a single 12-dart leg or better on the way to the final. You wouldn't have thought that was possible in the modern era of darts, would you? But it happened.
Yeah, 140.
If you were going to offer that as a quiz question, which player did that? The first name that would come to mind would be James Wade. Now, no one's saying he's not an excellent darts player and capable of firing in brilliant legs and brilliant performances and high averages, but he does have this way about him of doing enough to win matches.
He does. But part of that is throwing in an 11 or 12 darter just when he needs to.
140.
Well, he obviously didn't need to, Dan.
Well, that's it. And he was good enough to get him to the final.
He didn't need to do any better than a 15 dart leg against Robert Thornton yesterday.
No, he didn't. A 6-3 win against the Thorn. Averaging 91, but he's not a numbers man, Wade. He doesn't care for averages. He cares about legs. And right now,
81.
He may have a problem with winning this first one on his own throw. Because the Iceman Gerwyn Price, the former rugby player from Markham in Wales, is 140 points away from a 12-dart leg.
60.
I tell you what, he's a man that's beginning to rival James Wade's reputation for finishing. A 1-2-1 check out yesterday. Is he going to kick off with a 140? No, but he's going to leave top.
100.
And he is a very, very impressive tops hitter. Gerwyn Price, he will leave it at every available opportunity, and he is rapidly establishing himself as one of the most reliable double top hitters in world darts, which is a perfect prelude to him missing 3 darts.
Oh no, it's gone straight in. Gerwyn Price.
Exhibit A, Your Honour.
First.
Gerwyn Price.
Game on.
Landing tops, breaking throw. Yeah, James Wade's last PDC title came in May last year 26. On the European Tour. It was in the European match play. Hasn't won anything since then, but he's on a little run of decent form in the last couple of weeks. He got to the semi-finals in Players' Championship 8, losing to Darryl Gurney, but then he beat Phil Taylor in the Premier League before beating Robert Thornton yesterday.
Yeah, arguably kept his hopes of a playoff spot alive by beating Phil Taylor. It's one thing to beat Phil Taylor, but knowing you have to do it in a league format just to really keep yourself in contention. Knowing that if you are beaten by the greatest player of all time, then that pretty much could be the end of your campaign, effectively.
58.
A lot of pressure on that, but he likes pressure, Wade. Thrives on it. Seems to bring the best out of him.
Yeah, one of those many titles he has won, of course, was the Premier League.
But never beaten Phil Taylor on the way to one of his major titles. Crazy, isn't it? Always, there was a period where if Taylor didn't win it, Wade won it. That was it.
95.
It might never happen, Dan. Phil Taylor planning to pack up at the end of this year.
65.
These are two players that we expect to be around for a fairly long time.
Yeah, only 32 years old, Gerwyn Price, 34, James Wade, despite his vast experience.
100.
Gerwyn Price. It's only his 4th year on the tour, and he is already a force to be reckoned with.
Certainly is. Not much to shout about with that visit, but he has left himself a Shanghai finish. And this is a leg that he started off 26, remember. James Wade not really got going.
Well, he loves tops. As he proved in the last leg, and if he finds one dart, hold the first 2, making its way into the treble, he would have got a shot at it. But as it is, James Wade will have a chance to return the break.
60. James require 88.
Now then, time for a little bit of wading. These wadey finishes.
Game shown.
What he does.
James Wade.
88 in 2 darts, as if it was absolutely nothing, James Wade.
Game on.
And a man who just sort of coasted through that leg. Oh, I'm down to a finish around just under 100. There we go. 2 darts.
Yeah, he does
81.
portray a demeanour like he's just going through the motions, doesn't he? Just a day at work, really. Not one to get
96.
overly pumped, but there are occasions when James Wade releases a little bit of celebration and tension that's been building up, notably in the Masters final against Mervyn King. Mervyn didn't like it.
45.
Really?
$85.
It can be almost construed as James Wade looks bored half the time playing darts. This isn't boring darts at all.
140.
Just having a problem staying
98.
straight, Gerwyn Price. He's finding typically 1 dart per visit, straying into the next segment on the board, whether it be the 5s or the 7s. Bit like that Wade's just produced.
85.
They saw a difference in the throw as well there. Wade overpitched that second dart. He's down to a finish though, but Gerwyn Price with 1 treble will be down to a more reasonable
58.
one. Doesn't get one though.
James will require 150.
He's left himself another one of those James Wade finishes, but these massive ones are rapidly becoming Gerwyn Price finishes. He's not going to take out the 164. 69 off. Ooh, we've given him an extra 58 points there for some reason.
$76.
Again, not able to stay
James
straight.
require 90.
But 90 for Wade. Yeah, double 15. Right
James
next to his
Shaw
favourite
the
double
third
10,
leg.
and James Wade.
Full flag
The
going to
scoring
trophy.
is nothing special, but he's had 2 checkouts of 88 and 90, both of which he's taken out in 2 darts. And if James Wade is finishing like that,
84.
he is going to give himself opportunities to win games, because he doesn't need to score that heavily if he knows he gets under 100 and it just goes.
Well, neither player's missed a dart double yet.
174.
And that's the first effective maximum visit in the match.
100.
Little omen, potentially. These guys have met 4 times, 2 wins apiece, but when James Wade beats Gerwyn Price, he goes on to win the title that day. Happened in 2015, back in March, quarter-final in Barnsley, beat him 6-2, and then went on to win the title. And it happened in Crawley in 2014.
140.
Went on to win the title that day as well. Gerwyn did win their first meeting to go on and make his first ever quarter-final in the PDC, the very early days of his PDC career. But he still approaches the game now as he did then. He's still just trying to find out how good he could be. He genuinely believes he could be right in the very, very elite. People have scoffed at him for suggesting he could be a world champion, but if he carries on developing, why not?
Anyway, another weird one. We've had 88, followed by 90. Bullseye for 87.
62.
And it was not far away.
Going to require 117.
Going to get a dart at his favourite double top.
97.
Gerwyn Price's turn to miss a first dart at double. 5 for double 10 for James Wade. He rarely misses double 10. Rarely misses.
Game shown the full flag. James Wade. Fifth leg James to throw first.
And not only is that a
Game on.
2-leg cushion, it is yet another break of throw. And Gerwyn Price is in serious bother here, because he comes into this in red-hot form, semi-finalist, and had a dart to beat the eventual winner in the opening European Tour of the year, made it all the way to his first TV final at the UK Open. He's been a real threat on the Pro Tour, as you may have seen if you followed any of the streaming action over the various weekends in Barnsley and Wigan and Milton Keynes. But he is second best at the minute against the multiple major winner James Wade.
100.
Yeah, well, you mentioned those meetings they've had before. They haven't met for a couple of years, so James Wade hasn't run into Gerwyn Price since he has been
140.
on the brink of becoming one of the elite players in world darts. Just to highlight that form, in the last 10 tournaments, Gerwyn Price has reached at least the quarter-finals in 6 of them.
58.
4 of those have been converted to semis, and 1, of course, into the UK Open final.
I think that underlines how Gerwyn Price has continued his development.
99.
Did win a couple of titles last year, back-to-back in fact. But they were always really, some of the players are away on World Series, not all the top players are there. Well, I don't care. Look at the strength in depth of the PDC nowadays. You don't give these titles away.
We're looking at 132
132.
to move 3 legs clear. And you will get a shot of the ball if he finds treble 19. Doesn't. So Gerwyn Price, well, it's for a break, but you feel it's a much needed one.
Going to require 120.
A little bit fortunate to leave the Shanghai finish by accidentally hitting the 2. Double top. Only got 1 dart at it last time and he missed that. Just taking a moment this time.
100.
And he's even further away,
James
and Gerwyn Price
40.
keeps leaving tops. He's only hit it the once. James Wade, double 10. Is it inevitable?
James
Of
Shaw,
course
the
it's
fifth leg.
inevitable.
James Wade, 6 leg
4-1,
going
and
to
James
throw
Wade
first.
is kind of strolling towards a quarter-final spot here.
140.
Yeah, stark contrast to his last appearance on the European Tour in the first event of this show in Hildesheim. Beaten 6-5 by Darren Johnson in round 2.
100.
Of course, as a seed, that was his first match and only match in the German Darts Championship.
100.
And that's the first match and only match in this match so far.
Well, Wade can, on occasion, just go to sleep a little bit when he's got a big lead. He tends to lose interest and sometimes offers his opponents ways back into the game. Gerwyn Price will be hoping something like that happens.
The problem that Price will have then is that when Wade realises that his opponent's coming back, he just concentrates on one leg and bish bash bosh, it's done.
Yes, that is always the danger. 16 for double top. Double top. Can he hit it this time?
36.
Well, at least he missed high this time, which means when he returns, he will get 3 darts from 40. He'll get another crack at that double top. But despite pinning it first dart in the very first leg of this game, Gerwyn Price, and looking very impressive, it's not been working for him since then.
He is good at it.
Very good at it.
Game shown the 6th leg.
Wouldn't know about the first dart, but the second
7th
dart
leg, James to throw
kind of
first.
underlined that point.
Well, the unseeded Kyle Anderson defeated Menzo Suljevic in our last 16 match, and then Jelle Klaasen avoided a bit of a shock,
45.
knocking out the non-seed Jeffrey de Graaf. Both of these players are seeded, number 7 seed Wade and Gerwyn Price, and number 10 seed.
100.
In fact, there are only 3 more unseeded players in action later on today. One of them is a 5-time world champion.
Yes, Raymond van Barneveld.
140.
Well, you have to say, from this quarter of the draw, when you look at the 4 players we've seen in action so far
45.
today, Kyle Anderson has been the standout performer. He'll take on Jelle Klaasen in the opening quarter-final. This is the same half of the draw as this
96.
tie we've got going on here. But of all the players in the world where you think, does their previous performance give any indication how they're going to play in the next game? James Wade is one of those where you just think it matters absolutely not a jot, because he just plays to the level of his opponent plus a little bit, whoever that may be, wherever it is, whatever tournament it is.
100.
Yeah, and you're never
James
sure
require 116.
what he's actually thinking as well. He doesn't give much away in interviews and that kind of thing. Not giving much away in this match. Double top. For a 1-1-6 out.
76.
Now, Gerwyn Price with a chance to break.
120.
Had a few shots at this.
Well, he does hit it. Now, he finally took out double top after a number of missed darts at it in the previous leg. If you can find it here, this game is very much alive.
100.
And it's back to the old pulling it low trick.
It's as if he knows that he will not be coming back. The reaction, double 10. And there it is again from James Wade. Trusty 10.
Wade, 8-leg Gerwyn to throw first.
Yeah, James Wade, his interview after beating Robert Thornton, put his victory down to Robert Thornton having a bad foot.
44.
But James Wade has got 1 foot in the quarterfinals here.
Yeah, well, twice James Wade has taken out
100.
double 10. In fact, it might be 3 times. The notes are incomplete. But he looks very, very reliable on it, as he always does. And when you've got that in your arsenal, it just must give you so much confidence, knowing that if I leave myself double 10, I may only need 1-2 darts and that'll be it. And your opponent knows that as well.
96.
And that piles more pressure on them to take out shots like the 120 that Gerwyn Price keeps leaving and keeps failing to take out.
And that, the averages there just demonstrate the point we made right at the start of the match, that James Wade seems to perform at a similar level to his opponent, yet smash them out of the park.
Yeah, just always seems in control, doesn't he? It is quite astonishing from James Wade in the way that he manages games. He doesn't, if he loses a leg, he doesn't mind losing by 300 points. He doesn't see any merit in being there and losing a leg if when you're sat on double 10 for it and don't get a shot at it. And it genuinely doesn't bother him when he goes into the next leg.
41.
And he knows that he doesn't need to win this leg. He's still thereabouts. He's got a real chance of closing this out 6-2. But it will not faze him if Gerwyn Price smashes in a 180 and then takes out double 18 with his next dart and does not give Wade a chance, because he knows he'll kick off the next leg looking to close it out 6-3 and he'll be quite happy with that.
95.
Price didn't look happy with that visit. Often being left with just 1 dart at double at the end of combinations, Gerwyn Price, and then James Wade has come in and taken out the shot that he's left rather smaller. Will this leg go the same way? And will it be the last leg of the match? James Wade wants 64 for a place in the last 8.
Treble 8 for tops. Single 16 then for double top. To close it out 6-2, and the informed Gerwyn Price is not put out of his misery just yet. He's shaking his head walking to the oche. I'm not sure he expected to get this opportunity, but double top. Usually his friend, it's been a foe this afternoon.
90.
And it continues to be so.
James require 40.
For James Wade, what price a miss inside and a double 10 to close it out? Wouldn't bet against it. Would not bet against it. Would not bet against it at all, and do not bet against that man, because the number 7 seed James Wade, a 2-time winner on the European Tour, has booked his place in the final session of action at the Happy Bet German Darts Masters. He will face either the Bullet Stephen Bunting or the UK Open champion Peter Snakebite Rice. Those two will take to the stage in just